Welcome, fans, to take two of this daily wrestling news update. I'm still Jack Kilby, Executive Vice President of Great North Wrestling. And today, before we get into some of the news, I want to touch on the big events from last night's Smith Falls Showdown in Smith Falls, Ontario. And perhaps the biggest story coming out of the showdown was this: the Canadian title victory by Magnum McLaren, who defeated Jeremy Prophet in a match that exceeded expectations and is the first time in a number of years that the Canadian title was held by anyone other than Jeremy Prophet. You see myself along with Big Daddy Diamond, the big money players. We were there at ringside to support Magnum strictly, and he did not let us down. Next on the docket for Magnum and his first title defense will be in Renfrew, Ontario, the Great North Wrestling Renfrew Reckoning, happening Saturday, September 2nd in Renfrew, Ontario at the Renfrew Armories. This card will feature a number of stars, but notably the first appearance in Great North Wrestling of the insane luchador, super crazy ECW original and legend, who will be challenging Magnum McLaren in his first title defense for that Canadian title. Also appearing on the card will be WCW and ECW legend Jack Victory, Jeremy Prophet, Jessica Black, and many, many more. There's going to be a lot announced, but I would suggest you go to ticketweb.ca and grab your tickets now. We will also have a location in Renfrew where fans can grab tickets. That's to be determined, but they are available and on sale now at ticketweb.ca. Two legends coming into Ontario for the first time in many years, especially in Jack Victory's case. We're talking probably 15, and the historic first title defense of Magnum McLaren. Other news from the card last night was the appearance by the British Bulldog Jr., Harry Smith, who defeated ECW original Nunzio in a hard-fought battle, which featured some technical wrestling as well. The fans were talking about the main event of the show that closed the show out, and that was the Bruiser facing Hardcore Steve in a tables match, and Steve coming out triumphant in that encounter. However, also signed for the Renfrew Reckoning will be a strictly scientific battle between Hardcore Steve and Bruiser, who is challenging Bruiser again on the basis of the fact that he wants to prove that not only is he hardcore, but he can wrestle scientifically and will ultimately win the best 2 out of 3 series between the two. So once again, fans, grab those tickets available at ticketweb.ca and stay tuned to the Hannibal TV for more updates as they become available. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Now on to the news for the second time. It is being reported that Don Callis was legitimately attacked by a fan in the post-press conference for Triple Mania of the AAA organization. The Brian Alvarez of the Wrestling Observer newsletter said that Callis was in fact hurt and taken to the hospital for treatment, which was very serious. It was not, it was very clarified in the Observer that this was not any form of an angle. And of course, that is a rarity in this day and age. And we wish Don Callis hopefully the best, no permanent injuries. And we will report any updates from that story as we get them. It was reported also that Brian Pillman Jr., a tag partner of the British Bulldog Jr., Harry Smith, a former tag partner, was found or spotted at the WWE Performance Center in Orlando, Florida. And the speculation is running amok that he is bound for NXT or perhaps the main roster, but I would think NXT, given the fact that he still is relatively new in the business. Joe, we're going to post those results in full later today. I am a little bit behind schedule due to travel considerations, which were a challenge for Nunzio and Harry, but we will get them up in full later today. And yes, Ben, thankfully there is sound. Thanks to everyone who was watching that other update, because I probably would have knocked it out and not noticed that there wasn't sound. So that would have been unfortunate. Rick Steiner, the dog-faced gremlin, is evidently trying to make amends for the transphobic comments that he made with respect to TNA female wrestler in their division, Giselle Shaw. Evidently, he is making attempts to contact Giselle and apologize and make things right after the comments that were uttered at WrestleCon during the WrestleMania 39 weekend, witnessed by a number of people. The report indicates that although it's not resulting in any negative feedback for his son, Braun Breaker, the WWE will not be using Steiner anymore for a while, obviously. And he did make some appearances in NXT. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe when Breaker won the NXT title, he was there for a celebration. So hopefully, lesson learned, and everyone can move on. A report from Fightful Select indicates that Eric Young indicated that he would not be willing to work with Vince McMahon following the news of the merger and the publication of the fact that Vince is now in the control position in terms of creative and other things. The report quotes Young as saying that he had moral, creative, and personal reasons for not wanting to work with Vince McMahon again. And the WWE apparently had creative plans for Young that were not disclosed in particular, but he was in the mix, evidently. The fans will know that Young made his return to the TNA Impact Wrestling last night in their pay-per-view, and he, of course, has a rich history in that organization, dating back to his involvement in Team Canada with Scott D'Amore and the tremendous angle he did with Larry Zbyszko as the director of Authority and Don't Fire Eric. I actually had that t-shirt back in the day. Chris, yes, I would agree. Pillman is, in fact, a tremendous talent. In speaking with Harry Smith over the weekend, he also expressed his appreciation for Pillman's skills and did agree that it was time for him to go to an organization where he could learn some more and be tested some more through the top individuals that compete in the WWE at this time. Just have a few programming notes for everyone. Interviews coming up from the Hannibal TV. And again, if you haven't subscribed or hit that button, please do. And you will be given not only instant news updates, but notification of interviews as we air them. I want to mention immediately, in the immediate time frame, we have Bull Buchanan coming up, and this is within the next month and a half or so. The WWE veteran and perhaps best known for his work with John Cena. No, that would be Right to Censor. Yeah, Right to Censor, that angle, along with many, many others that I'm sure all the fans know. He's got a very fascinating history in terms of his personal life, too, that we'll get into post-WWE. And a couple of interviews that I'm looking forward to. One on the rare side is with J.C. Ice, the individual legally known as Jamie Dundee. He has agreed to sit down with myself and do an interview, and his partner in the PG-13 faction and WWE run, that would be Wolfie D, who has a podcast of his own, which I enjoy very much. So that's coming up. We have, of course, big names in the immediate future, one springing to mind is Ahmed Johnson, another rare interview that we're looking forward to doing, and Greg the Hammer Valentine. Oh, and I would be remiss not to mention the ECW legendary manager and referee Bill Alfonso, who has stories that are. He gave me a little bit of a preview to some of the stories, and I'm really looking forward to getting that out to the fans. And Jack Victory is going to be sitting down to have a discussion with me to talk about his, again, rare appearance in Canada at the GNW Renfrew Reckoning Saturday, September 2nd at the Armories. I'm looking forward to that. Followed his work from Mid-South, NWA, WCW, and ECW. So that's going to be a good one, and a follow-up to an interview that Hannibal did with Jack several months ago. On Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, I have an interview scheduled. It's actually a reschedule with Des from Totally Arctic Wrestling. Fans may not be aware of that company, but they are a successful group. They are Canada's most northern promotion, and they are run by Inuit folks, and they have brought up several names in the past to compete there. And it's a fascinating story of a grassroots company with a can't fail attitude and just a love for the sport. And I'm really looking forward to that. So that is Tuesday at 7 p.m. on the Great North Wrestling Podcast. If you are unaware or need those updates, once again, please subscribe to the Hannibal TV and click the button, and we will keep you up to date as developments arise. So coming off a huge night in the Smith Falls Arena, the Memorial Center, big money players are living large. We had fans that were very satisfied with the action, and it's just the second stop in the Great North Wrestling summer of 2023. We will be sure to have you folks in the loop in terms of the events as they are scheduled, because there are more to come. So fans, thanks for tuning in and notifying me of the lack of sound. Hopefully that doesn't happen again, and everyone have a great evening.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Follow us on Twitter at the Hannibal TV for instant updates.